Hi, John Barros, candidate for mayor of Boston. Born here in Roxbury and living in Dorchester. Married with 4 kids. And I started doing community work at the age of 14 as a community organizer for the Dudley Street Neighborhood Initiative. And then shortly after became executive director, where I helped to build affordable housing, parks, playgrounds, helped to build the largest urban land trust in the country to protect our neighborhood as we develop it from displacement. And then I went on to do work in our schools, where Mayor Menino appointed me to the school committee. And I helped to design and build new schools, such as the Orchard Garden Pilot School, redesign the Dearborn Middle School into the Dearborn STEM Academy, and then passed important new regulations as a school committee member, like the student weighted formula. Education is a passion. But from there, I ran for mayor the first time, and then Marty Walsh asked me to be the first chief of economic development for the city, where I came in and helped to create a new economic development cabinet. As chief of economic development, I supported small businesses, large businesses, brought 140,000 new jobs to the city of Boston, and helped to bring down unemployment to 2.4%. But the only way we can continue to build our economy is to make sure that more people can be included and that it can be more diverse. That's why education continues to be important, workforce development continues to be important, and making rules that allows everybody to play continues to be important. Workforce development and education is critical for human development. My own personal journey brought me to Dartmouth College, and then I got a master's at Tufts. And I was able to also study at the University of South Africa in Cape Town's business school, where I studied the question of leadership in business and in community building. I also have a certificate on financial analysis from the New York Institute of Finance. Education continues to be important. It was important to me, it was important to my life, and it's important for all Bostonians, which is why I announced a $4 billion investment in all school buildings, which is also why I announced the creation as mayor of a new city college system in Boston, where we can make sure that all Bostonians who want to go to school get to go to school and maybe have a free tuition for the first 2 years in school. We can do this in Boston. We've already done it. We've already created a free tuition community college plan, and we can expand on it. I also asked for an independent Madison Park board and an independent budget to give Madison the kind of focus, attention, and investment it needs. Boston has everything we need to be a world-class city, but we need to continue as we grow to invest in transportation and in climate resilience. And I believe I'm the best positioned candidate to bring my experience, my background, and all of the things that I have done to help Boston meet some of the challenges that as we come out of the pandemic and be a better, stronger. Yeah, I worked with both Mayor Menino, I worked with Mayor Walsh, but I also did a little bit of work as a young person with Mayor Ray Flynn. And we've had some very popular mayors in the city of Boston. But the things that I think made them stronger is when they hit the ground and they were in our neighborhoods, when they were closest to the people of Boston. I'll make sure to be present in all of our neighborhoods, see all of our communities, particularly our immigrant communities. So many of our immigrant communities are not seen. As a son of immigrant myself, with my parents coming from West Africa, I know what it means to work hard in Boston but feel like we're not seen and that we don't have the services that we need, which is why I was really proud as Chief of Economic Development to help Mayor Walsh translate and provide more language access and cultural appropriate messaging to all of our communities in Boston. We translated materials, we translated the website, and then we did research by partnering with people on the ground, with organizations and immigrant communities on the ground to make sure that those opportunities were well known. All of our mayors that have done a good job have plugged in with our neighborhoods and plugged in with all of our communities, and I'll make sure to do the same. As Executive Director of the Dudley Street Neighborhood Initiative, I've built a lot of affordable housing, built a land trust to help protect affordable housing, to make sure, in fact, as we build our neighborhood, that people don't have to move out. They can afford to be here. As mayor, I will do the same. I will continue to build affordable housing in Boston at all levels and make sure that we use the definition of affordability that is affordable for people who live in that neighborhood. It is critical that we continue to build on city land And whenever we can build on city land, we build affordable. It's critical that we continue to use subsidies to help create affordable housing, even when there are private projects, that we create more and more affordable housing, and that we ask our developers to do more and more. That's why I was proud to have increased the linkage fees for the city of Boston by 42%, working with the business and development community to figure out the best ways to increase revenues in a way that allows us to continue to build. It is important that we also increase our investments in public transit so we can do more transit-oriented development and build more density along transit infrastructure. These are the things that as a city leader, as the mayor, I'll make sure that I push in Boston and get done. The Asian community is a really important community in the city of Boston. It's a community that continues to grow. Boston's demographics have shown over the census, in fact, that the Asian community continues to have strong growth in Boston. You know, I was proud to go to China to set up a new agreement with the province of Guangzhou to further nurture the sister city agreement that we have with Hangzhou, and then to help with Massport's bringing of a direct flight from Beijing. These are things we need to continue to work on as we help support our Asian community here. We have a very strong community, whether in Chinatown or in Dorchester Ave, right here in my neighborhood in Dorchester, of strong business owners, of neighbors that are active. As mayor, I'll make sure the first thing we deal with is Asian hate. This anti-Asian movement is something that was fostered by the federal government and that we can help change here locally. Move the tides in the other direction. We need to make sure that we're celebrating our Asian community. We need to make sure that we have zero tolerance for anybody who is violent to any of our Asian neighbors. And then we need to make sure that we are providing safe tips and ways for us to be safe in all of our communities. This will be a priority for all of our communities, particularly those that are being attacked in the Asian communities of Boston. We'll also make sure that education, which I know is of great concern, is something that we pay attention to. We need to make sure that all of our schools in Boston are quality schools. My plan calls for quality schools, tier 1 seats in all of our neighborhoods. It can't just be the exam schools. It needs to be all of our schools so that we can make sure everybody has a chance for quality education. Businesses, small businesses, continues to be top of mind for me. As a small business owner here in Dorchester, I know some of the challenges that we face. And as the former chief of economic development, I've helped small businesses grow. I've helped small businesses be able to access capital to get the kind of technical assistance that they need to be stronger. And as mayor, I'll continue to do the same. So there are, unsettling events in the world today, like in Afghanistan, and unfortunately we lost some soldiers yesterday, and that's tragic. As mayor, I will continue to be supportive of our veteran families, but also be supportive of refugees that need a place to come to when there is violence, conflict, even wars in their country. And Boston needs to be home for veterans, continue to be a safe haven for veterans. And I will make sure that we coordinate services, that we work with our residents to make the spaces available here in the city of Boston. Boston needs to be a safe place. It was a safe place for my family when we needed to come over, and we found opportunity to grow, to go to school, and to even open our small businesses. And so it needs to be that for other families as well. Long-term vision for Boston includes a city that is a global, international city, a city that can keep our students here after they graduate. We have programs such as UMass Boston in providing opportunities for international entrepreneurs to come to Boston, to stay in Boston, do business in Boston. We also need to be a place that's supporting our community here, that supports all of our communities, all of our immigrant communities, to make sure they have the services they need, particularly our elders. Too often, tax increases displace our elders. As mayor, I'll make sure that we have a guaranteed minimum income program to support our elders with their tax increases and to support our early child care educators. Boston needs to be a mecca for the best education system in America. We're the first public school system, and we can also be first in being the best public school system. Investing in public schools is really important for all of our residents. Making sure that they have an opportunity to go to college is critical as well. As mayor, will do that. I also know as an immigrant, as a son of immigrants, that it is important for us to have driver's licenses. We can't live in a city where we can't go shopping because we can't get in a car and drive, go to the pharmacy and get medicine for our family, or even go to work. It is important that Boston give access to all of those who are here. And then we've seen that the pandemic is something that we've got to pay attention to. Keeping everybody safe, keeping everybody, doing the right thing, whether it's masking, social distancing, or getting vaccinated, is critically important. I see Boston, from a vision standpoint, as a city that's going to be global, strong economics, strong education system, healthy for all, have a strong transit system, and climate resilient. To learn more about my policies, please go to barrosformayor.com. That's my website, where you can find all of my plans, policies, and things that I've said that I would do as mayor. You can also read more about my background. And then you can volunteer, donate, and become involved so that we can make sure that our city is heading into the next chapter with the strongest, most qualified, experienced mayoral candidate, and that is me, John Barros. I hope that you will come out and vote for me on September 14th. Thank you.